what are you trying to prove, by asserting your individuality so much is what I mean. What are you trying to prove getting that Gucci bag and whatever? Like, what are you trying to fucking prove? Living a vain, self-centered life. What's the point? Think about it. Like, what's the fucking point? We're all gonna go the same way. What should life be for? Life is clearly not for just beating the enemy. It's not just for crushing your ops. Because you can crush all of your ops, you can defeat all of your enemies, you're going to be back to square one. When you crush all your enemies and you crush all your ops, all you did was go back to an original state of defeat. And the original state of defeat is based on the realization that we as human beings have, that we are mortal. So you can crush and defeat and destroy all the fucking enemies in the world, but you're back to square one. Congratulations. So what is life for? What is it really for? Life is not about yourself. It's about giving back to what made you. It's about working for humanity. It's about working for a bigger principle that is going to survive you, and it's going to survive 10 generations from you. And you just got to keep it fucking moving, And why? What's the point? Well, because that's what you're here for. It's so simple. You're not here for yourself. You're here to pass something along that's going to outlive you. But that is why you are here. That's why you're breathing, and that's why you're here. That is why you draw breath. That is why you are on earth. You're on earth to pass something along way bigger than you. A principle bigger than any individual, any one person, and any one lifespan. And why are you here to do that? Is itself a question whose answer lies in that very same principle, for which and on account of which you draw breath. It is the meaning of being, to be, rather than not to be, is contained in this essential principle of universal existence, that all mankind draws breath by the beneficence of and for, and the facilitation, carrying it forward, passing it along, is the purpose of life. And some people protest this, then say, I reject that. I reject being. I choose nothing. I choose nothingness. Fine, choose nothingness. You'll come back to where you started. Because there's no escaping existence. There's no escaping being and existence. It's inescapable. Even if you die, you didn't escape it. You're no longer around to enjoy and celebrate your decision. There is no escaping the destiny and the mission and the purpose mankind has here and now on Earth. It's fundamentally inescapable. I laugh at some people when I hear they're motivated. They go, well, I'm motivated by doing the right thing. And it's like, well, what do you mean by that? Why? Think about it. Like, why? It's like the only things that really survive, it's what we write down. Think of it that way. It's like the shit that survives is what you write down. It's what you contribute that goes forward, that's what everything is for. And, we're faced with something a little different, though. We're faced with victory in our own lifetime, We're faced with mission impossible, basically, And I'll tell you what our mission is, and it's also very simple, okay? We've got to connect the threads. We've got to finish the mission. And it's like weaving, Think of it like that. You're weaving, and then there's a final product. Our final product that we're weaving is the resurrection of communism on a planetary scale. And it's so fucking hard to do. And, a lot of us, myself, I know for a fact, we're going to spend our whole fucking lives doing this. But once we succeed, and there can come a day in which we succeed, by the way. Like, this is doable, But if we're able to do this and pull this off, we win. For generations to come, we win. Like, All we've got to do, all we've got to do is rediscover the signifier of communism and of that world historical revolutionary tradition, connecting together and weaving the threads that unite the struggle of Russia for polarity and for sovereignty, the struggle for China to resurrect itself, to build a socialist civilization, the struggle of the resistance in the Middle East, the struggle of the Houthis, the struggle of populists fighting against the hegemony even within the West, although they're ideologically misguided, the struggle of socialist countries like North Korea, DPRK, to defend its sovereignty, the struggle for the Islamic Republic to safeguard and defend its revolution. Like, all of these are the same fucking thing, and it falls upon us to make sense of what unites all of these things as one thing. And once we pull that off, once we do that, it'll take off by itself. It'll be a signifier that replicates all by itself, and people will just get it. It'll be like all of this suffering and bullshit we have to go through of just constantly fighting against the grain and just constantly fighting this uphill battle. We're going to reach the top one day. Once we do that, fuck, we made it. I'll know then that my mission is finished. It's doable. It's concrete. It's not some pipe dream. It's not some utopia. When I was in southern Lebanon, I saw a lot of these Hezbollah flags. And all I could think to myself was, just kept thinking, there's a red star above all this. Not at the expense of this, but that's the thing that's the animating principle. Something global, connecting the history of the USSR from the October Revolution of 1917 that reawakened the colonized world, colonized peoples, the movement of the proletariat within modernity. Like, it's all fucking connected. It's all one thing and it's all connected. And I thought, this is the mission. Our mission isn't even necessarily to seize power. I don't know if we're going to seize power in my lifetime. I can't promise that. But I know that what our mission really is, at the end of the day, is to prove to the world communism is not dead, and it is the animating principle and the real movement of history. And it needs to become a universal, worldwide movement. In every nation and in every land, communists need to be a mighty and powerful force. And they need to be recognized as a mighty force. A big and great superpower on a planetary scale. A specter haunting the world. That's my life's mission. Basically, to restore a forgotten history. And it's really fucking hard. But if you stay the course, it can be done. You just have to see how it's all connected. Everything is connected that's happening in the world. To have the discernment to look past superficial ideological differences. To have the discernment to see how everything is fundamentally traced to 1917. And the breakdown of the capitalist mode of production. The fact that Marx and Engels were right, that the capitalist mode of production, by virtue of its own contradictions, is on its way out, if it hasn't been already, by the way. It's an ongoing source of discussion and debate. But in any case, Marx was right, and Marxists were right, and Lenin was right, and Stalin and Mao were right, and this needs to be recognized on a global scale, on a planetary scale. You think it goes farther? It goes look, dude. I'm writing a fucking book about how at least it goes as far back as the first conquerors of Sumeria, okay? It goes back to the Akkadians, at least. It goes back to the beginning of time, but in particular, it goes back to the entire history of the Bronze Age, leading to the conquests of Cyrus the Great. It's all the same thing, same story,